Hey and welcome. Today we're gonna knit a hand warmer in rib on a Danish size 5. Remember to subscribe to our channel if you want more free knitting recipes in the future. We're knitting from the wrist and up to the fingers. We're about to cast on stitches. Note how many stitches you need to cast on the size you need to knit. The wrist warmers or the hand warmers is going to be knitted in a rib. It is 2 purl and 2 knit, and that pattern you continue all the way around. I'm going to use a trick I use to get a tight knit even in between the joints of the stocking needles. So here's a joint of 2 stocking needles, and then I want to knit 2 extras on before I use the 5th needle and continue. In this way I can make sure I have a nice and tight knit. We have now knitted the first part, which is the rib around the wrist of the hand warmers. We're gonna gather all the purl stitches. So the pattern is gonna be called 2 knit and 1 purl. Here's how you gather purl stitches. You have 2 purl, put them on your needle, do a purl stitch, and then take them off the needle. With the new pattern, you knit the amount of rows that's in the text box above. And here you can see there's the part of the wrist. This is the part of the hand, and it goes nicely in and gets a tight knit around the hand. We're now going to knit the space around the thumb. Instead of knitting around, we're now going to knit and turn back. So here's the area where we want to have space for a thumb. So instead of knitting around, we're going to turn your project and then knit on the back side. Note that instead of knitting 2 knit and 1 purl, it's now the opposite. So it's 2 purls and 1 knit. We knitted up to the thumb on the back side, and then we're gonna turn the knitting project again, just like we do here, and then we're gonna knit 2 knits and 1 purl back to the thumb again. See the size in the text box above and see how many rows you need to do exactly this. Here you see the results of our knitting. This is the wrist part, this is the hand part, and this is the space for the thumb. We are now about to close the thumb, and this you do by knitting around again. This is the final part, and see in the text box above how many rows you need to do this for. Here you can see how we close up the opening for the thumb. We need to cast off the stitches, and that we do. If you haven't done it before, you can see here how you do it. You are knitting 2 stitches onto your needle, and then you take the back stitch, turn it over the first stitch and over your needle. Then you knit 1 more over, take the back stitch, over and over the needle. This you can continue all the way around your project. We're down to the 2 final stitches, and we're gonna do exactly the same as we did before. You knit 2 over on the needle, take the back one, over the first one. But here you're gonna break the yarn, and then you're gonna run the yarn through the last stitch.